So now I have the privilege and the honor of introducing this gentleman again. If you guys have never heard him speak, or have never been in the room with him, the mana behind his voice is beautiful. The force behind him and his leadership is unforeseen that you guys never are going to be able to match this individual. And that's not something to discourage anybody. This is a goal we should be setting ourselves for. I watched this individual over the years and lead by example. I met him 10 years ago in this room at a convention speaking. Met him again in DC at a study tour. And hearing him speak in person, hearing him ask questions directly related to things that affected us. Similar to last night, sitting down and having dinner with the man, he asked where we were on the hazard pay. How's everything going? How's the County of Hawaii? We got a new date? What's happening? For him to actually be concerned what's happening and know what's happening here in Hawaii just goes to show you that even there's 1.6 million of us, he knows who his family is. He knows who his ohana is. And as like I said, watching him lead by example, last summer they had the AFSCME tour bus going around. And they went from state to state, working with government officials to fill vacancies in these states and counties. They only had one rule. They just didn't let him drive the bus. They could let him do anything he wanted, but that was the one rule. He wasn't allowed to drive the bus. But on the last day, he drove the bus. But through that effort, the media exposure we was able to get, the signing up of members to fill up vacancy, and was only off of one idea of, let's just go state to state, knocking on doors, and see what we can do. Something simple, but it blew up to something way bigger. Always leading by example. And that's what this man shows us when every time he comes down to Hawaii and he blesses us with his presence. And this weekend, like I shared, he brought trainers down with him. Something we want to move forward and continue with this relationship so that these trainers can come down and help grow our knowledge so we can be at that level one day. Well, without going any further, I want to introduce my brother, our leader, Brother Lee Saunders.
All right. How's everybody out there? How's UDW, UPW? I've been traveling all over the place, I tell you. I want to thank Kalani for that kind introduction. He practiced that last night, and I was with him. I was telling him to say all those good things. I'm going to take him on a road show when I'm speaking at other AFSCME affiliates and do that same kind of introduction. So let me ask this question again and see what your response is. Is UPW in the house? Yeah. I didn't hear you. That's not good enough. Is UPW in this house? That's better. That's better. I came from Washington, D.C., and I left very early in the morning on Tuesday, going through Chicago. When we landed in Chicago, it was announced that the plane was going to be late. I'm sure that some of you who have traveled to the mainland have been involved in a situation like that. And then they said, it didn't make me feel any better. They said, well, we think we can get out of here and we'll be about 2 hours late, which is an improvement because the plane yesterday left 6 hours late. Left 6 hours late. But here's the deal. I'm here. And I am here with my family. I am here with the fighters. I am here with the soldiers of this great union, working every single day, kicking ass every single day. That's what UPW is all about. Love it. I want to Give a shout out to President Darrell Wilcox and Secretary Treasurer Doug Correa. Give them a round of applause for what they do every single day. But most of all, I want to recognize all of you. You truly are the everyday heroes of Hawaii and the everyday heroes who provide those essential services every single day. Thank you very much for the work that you do. Thank you. Now, I love your convention theme this year. I'm going to try to get this right, all right? I'm going to say it correctly. I've been practicing on this. Viva Ole. Yeah. Viva Ole. Did I say it right? All right. Viva Ole has defined UPW for more than, now get this, 8 decades. You're bold. You are fearless, and you never back down. Never back down. Viva Ole. That's what Hilo Road workers showed when they formed this great union back in 1944. 1944. And you've been representing workers ever since, being a strong, united front in the state of Hawaii. Viva Ole. That's what UPW showed 55 years ago when you won passage of Act 171 and gained the right to collectively bargain for the wages and the benefits and working conditions that all of you deserve. That's a part of your history. Viva Ole. That's the grit all of you show on the job every single day. You serve your communities under the most difficult and dangerous conditions imaginable, including during the pandemic, when you put the health of your neighbors over your own health. All of you did that. Now you're finally getting the temporary hazard pay that honors your sacrifice. It took some time, but you're finally getting it. Not because it was handed to you. Nothing is ever handed to you. But because you stood up, you made your voices heard, you demanded it, you organized and mobilized and refused to take no for an answer. This fight required tremendous perseverance. You've had to pass legislation, you've had to go through arbitration, take on payment delays, and you've also had to fight misinformation. Nothing about that fight was easy. But our fights are never easy. They never are easy. But some way, somehow, we may face some losses, but we do overcome. You know, I heard there's a Hawaiian saying, one I will not dare to pronounce, but it says this: no cliff is so tall that it cannot be climbed. No cliff is so tall that it cannot be climbed. So I urge you, all of you in this room, my UPW family, I urge you to keep climbing. Keep climbing every single day. Justice has been on your side every step of the way. But you've got to keep on climbing. Keep on working hard. Keep on organizing and mobilizing and educating every single day. Your success in this fight for hazard pay is a testament to what's possible when workers stand in solidarity and use the collective power that all of you have. The collective power, fighting, mobilizing, and organizing together. And I commend UPW for how you're growing that power and fully embracing our AFSCME strong strategies for union building. You know, AFSCME Strong has really been our North Star for our entire union over the last decade. I remember coming out here on a number of occasions and talking about the AFSCME Strong program. And you adopted that program. It's all about having one-on-one conversations with your coworkers every chance you get, at job sites, in union meetings, at their homes, on the doors, and in the community. It's about not only talking, but just as important, if not more important, it's about listening. It's about listening to what our members have to say, our members and our potential members. Sitting down, making it personal, making it real, talking to them about what matters in their lives, looking them in the eye and asking them to join our union struggle and to join our union family to make a better life for all of our members. I've got to tell you, UPW is doing great work on this front. Every AFSCME training and conference on the mainland has included a strong delegation of UPW members and activists, eager to learn union-building skills that are brought back to Hawaii. And you spread the news, and you implement that program. And by building your presence in your workplaces, holding blitzes, and having these kinds of important conversations, you've successfully signed up nearly, now get this, 1,000 new members this year. Give yourselves a round of applause for that. 1,000 new members this year. This is how we grow. This is how we build our power, win strong contracts, and hold politicians accountable. Let me tell you this. These efforts matter more now than ever. As you all know, our federal government has been taken over by billionaires and anti-union extremists who want to not hurt us. They want to destroy us. I'm not exaggerating. They want to take us out of the ballgame. They're ripping up contracts. They're attacking unions who represent federal workers, and we represent federal workers as well. Stripping out those contracts and saying that they can no longer be represented by a union. They're gutting our workplace health and safety, making it tougher to form unions, and illegally ending collective bargaining for many workers across the country, most importantly, those federal workers who are fighting back like never before. Now, this administration's illegal seizure of federal funds is also threatening our own AFSCME members, their jobs. Some of you are aware or know about the East-West Center, where we have a strong membership at the University of Hawaii, Local 928. Members who work to promote American interests in the Asian Pacific region. But the refusal by the White House to disperse $6 million federal grant dollars has already cost over 24 jobs, and the threat of further cuts has left the center's future uncertain. This is reality. This is what we are faced with every single day. So I want to be real straight with you, UPW family. All public service workers are going to face greater threats. I want to talk to you for real. I'm not going to give you any BS. We're going to face challenges. We're going to be confronting folks who do not want you to have that seat at the table. They're making it hard for all of you to continue to perform those essential duties. They're making it hard for you to continue to have that seat at the table that you desperately need. You know, they passed the big, beautiful bill in Washington, D.C. But there's nothing beautiful in my mind about taking food assistance away from working families struggling to afford groceries. There's nothing beautiful about slashing Medicaid and ripping coverage away from 15 million people. Nothing beautiful about that. And is there anything beautiful about throwing our healthcare system into chaos and jeopardizing tens of thousands of jobs across this country? That is what's going on right now because of this big, beautiful bill. And I just want to be clear on this so all of you understand. When they cut Medicaid, when they cut food assistance, it's not only those direct benefits that go to workers and their families across this country, but it has an impact on all of your jobs. Because a lot of those federal dollars are used to pay for the services that you provide. As public service workers in Hawaii and across the country. Federal programs and federal dollars support our communities. They support public services. And when state and local officials face budget shortfalls, when they see that that money isn't coming in from Washington, D.C., all of you know what happens. They look at you. They look at public services. And a lot of public services become a target. Those services are on the chopping block. That means job losses, it means furloughs, it means hiring freezes. All of those bad things can happen based upon this big, beautiful bill that has been passed. And while you're fighting for your livelihoods, guess who's raking in the money with all the tax cuts? The billionaires across this country who really don't need it, but you're paying for it, and you're paying for the price. Budget cuts, layoffs, an attack on our contracts. That's reality. That's what we're facing right now. So we've got to fight back like never before. We've got a program that we call Get Organized, for short AFSCME Go, where we are making phone calls, knocking on doors, packing town hall meetings, talking about the important work that all of you do and the jeopardy that your jobs are in. So now this big ugly bill has become a big ugly law. And I've got to tell you, I have been with the union now for almost 50 years. If I include my service as a state employee in Ohio, it is more than 50 years. I started off when I was 2 years old, so that's I don't look my age, okay? But I have never seen the viciousness of the attacks that we're facing. That's why all of us, our entire union, UPW, and all of our affiliates across the country must be actively involved in our AFSCME Go program. If there was ever a time to get organized, this is it. If there was ever a time to grow our power, not see it diminished, this is it. If there was ever a time to elect leaders who will stand with working families, this is it. So I challenge all of you to lean into that work. I challenge you to talk about strategies at this convention to grow this great union, to grow UPW, and to fight the good fight. And you're doing it. You're doing it every single day. You're kicking ass with Internal organizing. You set a goal to have 90% density by talking to your co-workers to join the union, and you reached that goal. But that's not good enough. You've set a new goal. And that goal is to not have 90%, but to have 95% membership. And with the track record that you have, and with your commitment and dedication, you're going to hit that goal. 95%. That is one of the highest percentages that we have with any affiliate across the country. You are doing that work. You should give yourselves a round of applause for signing up those new members. That's what it's all about. That's a success story. We can do this. With all the challenges and the battles that we face, we can continue to grow. And UPW is doing just that. But I'm going to also ask you to do more. We can't kind of sit back and say, we did a great job, and then the fight and the battle is over. We've got to be committed, all of us together, to continue that fight. I urge you to ramp up your new employee outreach. There's simply no better time to make a strong first impression than the moment new hires come on board. That's when you've got to grab them. That's when you've got to talk to them. I know there's a training at this convention on how to take your NEO programs to the next level. And I hope all of you will attend that workshop. But we can't grow by increasing density alone. I'm going to ask you, and I was talking to Kalani about this last night, I'm going to ask this great union to start identifying external organizing opportunities in Hawaii to grow our union, not where we currently represent, but to think outside the box and look at unrepresented and unorganized workers that would be a good fit within UPW so they can be a part of this great union. It's absolutely, I believe, essential that all of us collectively do this kind of work. You know, since 2019, the National Union has organized 100,000 new members across the country. 100,000 new members, so it can be done. Our affiliates working hand in hand with the National Union. We're organizing in all sectors, public service, private, nonprofit. Well, we're growing. We're creating density, and we're creating power. Now I'm going to ask you to do something else. I'm putting a lot on your plate. We've got to continue that internal organizing. We've got to look at external organizing targets. But we've also got to play in the political process. And I know that may be a dirty word to some. But we've got to be involved politically and support those elected officials who support us. And the only way that we can do that is to have a strong people program. That's our fundraising arm for political dollars. And UPW, let me just be very, very honest with you. Be very clear. We've got some work to do here as far as raising those people dollars so we can elect our friends and punish our enemies. It's a major focus of our GROW campaign, and our affiliates all across the country are doing just that. We have got to make our voices heard so these attacks that we're experiencing right now will be dealt with by us and our allies across the country. We've got to elect candidates who believe in public service, who believe in workers having a seat at the table, who believe that you should have the power to determine your own destiny as far as your work lives are concerned. But make no mistake about it, our jobs and freedoms are on the line. Public services are on the line. Our democracy is on the line, and I am not exaggerating it. I'm seeing it and feeling it in Washington, D.C. when I'm there, but it's happening all across the country. We have got to take our responsibility seriously, and what we must do is what I believe to be the baddest ass union on the face of the earth, and that is AFSCME. That's who we are. That's who we are. That's what this fight is all about. And the only way we're going to meet this moment, the only way that we're going to meet this moment is to act boldly, to act fearlessly. If we are viva ole and pour 100% of our energy into getting organized, into fighting back, making our voices heard. We've had challenges before. We're going to have challenges in the future. But one thing I know about our great union, one thing I do know about the members of this great union is that you're fighters. And you believe in that seat at the table. We may not agree on everything within our own family, and we don't. We can't. But we do believe that workers deserve the power to be able to determine what's happening in their work lives. And the only way you can do that is having that seat at the table, to be on equal footing with the boss and explain to them and educate them about the work that you do every single day and the fact that you must be. In fact, we demand it every single day. You have the power within your voices. You have the power to fight back. You have the power to determine what's happening in your work lives. This is under attack right now. And we can't be silent. But we're going to do what we do best. We're going to do what we do best, UPW. And that is saying, we aren't going to take this shit, and we're going to fight back, and we're going to make our voices heard, and we're going to be in the streets, and we're going to take anybody on who tries to take us on. That is our history. That is who we are. That is why we are the baddest ass union on the face of the earth, because we fight back and we don't take any shit from anybody. Are you ready? Are you ready to make your voices heard? Are you ready to fight back? Are you ready to protect your public services on this island and protect your jobs? You've got a big union that supports you every single day. Any kind of help or support that you need, all that Kalani has to do is pick up the phone. You are not alone. Take advantage of that. But I urge all of you to don't take what you have right now for granted. Because if you don't mobilize and organize and educate, what you've been able to win could be taken away from you. And we ain't gonna let that happen, are we? Are we gonna let that happen, UPW? We're gonna fight back. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. So let's go out and kick some ass and fight back. Thank you very much.